Welcome to the Art of Precision on Gillette World Sport. Coming up today, we hit the slopes with freestyle skier Bobby Brown. Serve up the action from the ATP Finals in London. And break down the game with Toulon Rugby.
Power is very important in rugby. You have to have that in your arsenal to be competitive.
First up on Gillette World Sport, our precision lens turns to big air and slopestyle with three-time X Games gold medalist, Team USA free skier Bobby Brown.
I always grew up on X Games, action sports. The mountains were an hour and a half away, and I'm like, hey, why don't I go do some flips on the skis? So that's kind of how it turned out. I'm 26 years old now and been doing this for 10 years. I'm Bobby Brown, and I'm a professional free skier. Slopestyle is just an array of jumps and rails all linked together. Usually there's, 6 to 8 features in a run, and the whole point is to go down and link it all together and do your technical tricks mixed with style and lace a run. For me, I go into a contest, but kind of have a certain run that I know I can do, and I just try and work it around the features and mix it together and make it all come together. The level of creativity is kind of hard to push in a contest sometimes, but you really got to just think outside the box, because you can get stuck in the same rut of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then a year later you're like, whoa, I just did the same run every single time. But you're going to be more consistent with that. But I think it's kind of fun to throw in a wild card and just be like, hey, I'm going to go for it, and if I land it, I land it. If I don't, then we got the next one. So it's definitely a balance to kind of mix the consistency with the creativity. Sometimes you start a slopestyle run and something happens, you land switch when you're supposed to land forward, and then all of a sudden, like at the blink of an eye, you have to change your whole entire run. That just makes it fun. You get to the bottom and you're like, I don't even know what I did, but I made it to the bottom. So that's like half the fun of it. It's definitely pretty crazy when you're in the moment, you're on the course, you can really tune into these things and be really specific and detailed about how everything feels under your feet. The mental aspect's it, that comes down to training, that comes down to contests. You're not going to get anywhere, you're not going to learn any tricks without, a deep mental capacity for learning things and staying calm. You can learn every single trick in the whole entire world, but it takes your mind to decipher if you're going to land it or not. Technology's been crazy, it's just opened up so many doors for action sports. Just the ability to take the camera off the jump and get a different angle at things, So I've been traveling around with my brother, and this year he's teaming up with me and gets to hit the road, and a bonus is that he's like the best follow camera in the whole entire world and hits all the jumps with me and gets incredible shots. So it's a pretty amazing opportunity that we have this year.
We do get along pretty well. He's a good older brother, he's my best friend, and sometimes we have a little beef, but at the end of the day, it's always good and we're always stoked. The first couple of runs, I'm like trying to make sure I get the speed for the jump and make sure I'm safe, and then throughout the day, I kind of get more comfortable and I know where Bobby is in the air, so I can just like point the camera towards him and we'll both end up good and clean. So I kind of use like my peripheral vision and try and look at him out of the corner of my eye. Usually I can see what he's doing and see where he's traveling, and if I'm able to do that, it's pretty easy to get it down.
We had the discussion before we started traveling together. We're like, hey dude, let's just try and not blow up on each other. If we do, just take some time and come back and just resolve it as quick as possible. You've grown up together. You've been living on this world together for 23 years. So to be in the air off a 100-foot jump with him, that's kind of the best person possible that should be there with me. we're as close as you can possibly get. I mean, we're probably 4 inches apart, but I can seriously sense him in the air, and we've come close before. And actually, we were skiing this week and went into the jump, and I just passed him on the in run. I'm like, oh God, dude, he's definitely gonna knuckle. And he goes off the jump, and all I hear is just screaming in the background. I look up, and there's just full-on explosion. The camera got ripped out of his hands as he's holding his knee, and it was just madness. So he's actually in the room right now with me. And so he's walking, he's standing, he's currently, you know, all together. But yeah, hopefully he can bust out the rest of the season and we can have a good one. The X Games started my career and continue to be my favorite event. It's where the roots of free skiing are. My highlight of my X Games experience was in 2009, my first X Games. I was 17 years old, and Tanner Hall was skiing the slope course, and he wasn't really feeling the course because he hadn't been skiing slopestyle very much. And he's like, you know, Bobby, I've seen you in practice. This is your spot.
This guy, Bobby Brown, at 17 years of age, steps up to the plate.
And so I was an alternate then, and that was the moment when I got into the X Games slopestyle for the first time, and that was honestly the most amazing moment ever.
Bobby Brown, one more time. Will he do the double? There it is. The kangaroo flip. Bobby Brown stops it.
The last couple of years, I was kind of in this limbo area where I'm like, do I want to keep skiing park? Do I want to go try other stuff? But then I kind of clicked, and I'm like, man, I want to get back in the rhythm. And then I just started skiing and skiing and skiing more. And now I'm finally back to the point when I'm like not overthinking a trick and being scared of a trick. That's kind of what I've tried to channel, just diving in and getting back to the roots. When you were 17 and you would just go out and literally not care, and that's when you ski the best. So that's my key to unlocking the potential.
Next, we take our courtside seats at the ATP Finals in London.
The prestigious season-ending showdown at London's O2 Arena once again attracted a sellout crowd. Rafael Nadal was honoured on Sunday afternoon, receiving the ATP World Tour #1 trophy for a fourth time. The Spaniard was unable to cap off his comeback season with a win, however, as he announced his withdrawal from the event due to an ongoing knee injury after a loss to David Goffin in his opening round-robin match. That match started a successful run for 26-year-old Goffin, making his way to the semi-finals, where he shocked favourite Roger Federer, coming back from a set down to eliminate the second seed and picking up his first ever win against the Swiss. Joining him in the final would be 6th seed Grigor Dimitrov. The Bulgarian had strolled into the semi-finals, where he converted a 4th match point to advance past American Jack Sock to his 5th final of the season and the biggest of his career. The first set of the final was a tight affair, and at 5 games, all looked on course for a tiebreak.
That's the shot he's hit so well all week.
But Goffin's defences weren't quite strong enough for his Bulgarian opponent.
Grigor Dimitrov takes the opening set here, a tight one.
Dimitrov hoped to transfer the momentum to the second set, but Goffin wasn't going down without a fight.
Got it! David Goffin has responded, and responded in style.
On his own serve, the Belgian looked unstoppable.
David Goffin grabs set number 2 here in London.
Into the decider, and the 7th seed was immediately going off the Dimitrov serve.
Oh, that's good. No hesitation at all.
But the Bulgarian was mixing things up to good effect.
Good close.
The errors were beginning to mount for Goffin on serve, one in particular proving decisive.
Missed that one as well. And it's first blood to Dimitrov in the decider.
Dimitrov had found form and was looking for a break to secure the win.
Incredible shot making.
Dimitrov playing at galactic levels.
Goffin saved 3 match points, determined to prove that while he was down, he wasn't quite out.
Stand and deliver.
But Dimitrov managed to compose himself when serving for the match.
Dimitrov wins the biggest title of his career. He is the Nitto ATP Finals champion for 2017.
The win caps Dimitrov's best ever season as he reaches a career high of number 3 in the world rankings.
Now we head to the south of France for a training session with Toulon Rugby. Founded in 1908, Rugby Club Toulonnais is a long-established rugby union side playing in France's top 14 competition. In 2015, an historic third consecutive European Rugby Champion Cups title saw Toulon cement itself as one of the continent's leading clubs. Prop Marcel van der Merwe and fly half Luke McAllister told us about the elements that contribute to success in rugby.
I think power is very important in rugby. It's a big reason why a lot of guys play because you want to overpower the opponent and another team. In my position specifically in the scrum, power is an enormous part of that. You have to have that in your arsenal to be competitive.
Acceleration is important in rugby because it gets you over the gain line in attack, and in defence it gets you in front of the people you want to tackle. So you need speed in all aspects. And in my position, I play 10 and 12, so evading the big boys is a big thing.
You have to have a lot of stamina and endurance to be able to play and to compete. Scrum again, it's very important that all 8 guys have good stamina to be able to stay in the battle for as long as possible.
Balance is important because you want to be evading defenders by moving your weight side to side and still keeping the acceleration and the speed, so it's very, very important.
Psychology is most probably the most important part of any professional athlete's job because the mental preparation, I believe, is everything, and it's key to be able to perform at your best, especially in long competitions and especially when it gets tough.
Rhythm is important in rugby because it trains you to continue the same things that you've been working on, so you get into a rhythm and you keep producing the same thing, especially with me and my kicking. I want to have a rhythm where I'm doing the same every kick.
Precision is very important because the margins are so small. You've got to be precise in everything you do. In my position specifically, it's very technical, so precision is 100% part of the job. So you have to be 100% focused and on par with what you have to do every time.
Drive is important because you want to win, you want to compete at the highest level, and having that motivation and drive within yourself and within the team is huge.
Still to come, we rev up at Rally Australia and break down the art of attacking in handball. Welcome back to Gillette World Sport. Coming up, we're on the court with the Rhein-Neckar-Löwen Handball Club and on the gravel at Rally Australia. Next, we're talking tactics with German handball champions Rhein-Neckar-Löwen. Based in the city of Mannheim, Rhein-Neckar-Löwen have emerged as one of the dominant forces in German handball. They won their first ever Bundesliga championship in 2016 and followed that success by retaining the title earlier this year.
I play this sport since I'm 6 years old. It's my passion and it becomes my profession.
If you're playing at home, that there will be 13,000 spectators and most of them are cheering for you. It's all the time still after 10 years. It feels amazing.
The last 2 years we get big success. A little bit unexpected for the handball crowd in Germany, but yeah, we developed a good team in the last 4 or 5 years. And that's why we could win it the last 2 years.
On their way to the championship last year, the team lost only 3 of their 34 regular season games. One of their keys to success has been a prolific attack, which has led to them scoring more than 4,000 goals over the last 4 seasons.
There are a number of ways to set up an attack, too many to list all of the moves. But for a few years now, we've been using a 7th outfield player. In other words, the team takes the goalkeeper out and plays 7 attackers against 6. Then you've gotten the advantage of the extra man and can make the most of the extra numbers. We've been doing that to great effect in the last few years. It's one of the reasons we've been German champions, finding the right tactics to be able to release the extra man. Also, we sometimes play with 2 pivots. The pivots are usually over 110 or 120 kilos, and we call them the crushers, because when they have the ball, they have to be able to turn their man in a one-on-one situation. In my opinion, we're the team with the best pivot players. We also have Andy Schmid, who is one of the best playmakers for assists, as he can always find a free man. And I think those are some of the great strengths which we have in our game.
It's exciting to score a goal and to have 13,000 people scream your name. That's a nice part, but this is not the main reason I play playmaker. I prefer to play a nice assist pass or something like that, or I try some things nobody saw before. The better players, they can play instinctive and they don't think about the technique to catch a ball or to dribble or to make a feint. This is all in your body or all in your mind. You have to see situations nobody else see, and that makes the difference between good and really good players.
My primary goal is to score a goal, but it comes in my mind really spontaneously. It's also, of course, a really good feeling to trick the goalkeeper a little bit. I think that's part of the game of the players on my position as well. When you really see the goalkeeper moving and you really see that what he's doing and you are able to do another thing so he has another chance, that's the best feeling.
Yeah, in Germany it's a big sport, many spectators in the big arenas, and that's why it's a place to be a little bit if you play handball, that you play in Germany, because it's the biggest and hardest league.
Of course, the last 2 seasons have been really successful for us, but yeah, we have maybe 2 missing goals. In Champions League we just went to the stage of the last 16 the last 2 years, and of course the biggest goal is to win Champions League, but also be part of the Final 4 in Cologne next season.
Time now to take a look at the videos making the social headlines this week. The final places at next year's World Cup have been decided, with Denmark among the sides booking their place in Russia. Australia also qualified, which means a 4th tournament appearance for 37-year-old midfielder Tim Cahill. England cricketers Stuart Broad and James Vince showed their football skills before the Ashes gets underway. Skateboarder Riley Hawke shared this video of an impressive-looking rail grind. Terry Adams took his bike onto the court to combine BMX tricks with basketball. Double Olympic boxing champion Vasyl Lomachenko is keeping his mind sharp as he prepares to defend his world super featherweight title in December. The UFC's new middleweight king Georges St-Pierre showed poise on the parallel bars, but couldn't quite stick the landing. Surfer Nick Von Rupp hit the waves as the sun set in Indonesia. Former 100-metre world champion Johan Blake had to settle for less than perfect conditions as he battled a Jamaican rainstorm. Neymar Jr. had some fun with his Brazilian teammates pulling off this nutmeg. And finally, Tour de France winner Chris Froome was among those in attendance for the final race of the NASCAR Cup Series, which saw Martin Truex Jr. crowned champion for the first time.
Now, pedal to the metal at the season finale of the World Rally Championship in Australia.
With Sébastien Ogier and M Sport already crowned world champions, Rally Australia meant plenty of sideways action and risk-taking as drivers fought to end the season on a high. Looking to secure the championship runner-up position, Hyundai's Thierry Neuville was charging to the front, hitting over 200 km/h on his way to the top of the leaderboard. The Belgians' advantage increased as challengers fell away. Chris Meek's attempt to navigate the bridge on Welsh's Creek nearly ended in disaster. And even new champion Ogier found trouble hitting a rock the size of football, which didn't do his Fiesta's aerodynamics any good at all. Jari-Matti Latvala was Nerville's closest challenger, but even the Flying Finn was 20 seconds down by the end of the day. In his M Sports swan song, Oit Tanak held the final podium place and was promoted to second when Latvala made an uncharacteristic mistake deep in the forest. The award for Best Crash of the weekend went to Craig Breen, with a fan cam capturing the frightening-looking roll. The C3 was a write-off, but driver and co-driver were unharmed. With a 22.5-second lead, Nerville took a deserved fourth win of the season ahead of Tanak and Hayden Paddon in third, easily securing second place in the championship standings.
Finally this week, we take a look at another side of sport, at the grand opening of a new world-class facility in Rwanda. Cricket is Rwanda's fastest-growing sport and has been credited with aiding reconciliation in the country following the civil unrest of the 1990s, with the nation uniting behind a sport which is untainted by historic divides. The creation of a new world-class cricket facility to contribute to the sport's development has long been the ambitious aim of the Rwandan Cricket Stadium Foundation. The grand unveiling by the country's leader, Paul Kagame, included an all-star cricket match featuring some of the world's best cricketers, as well as leading national Rwandan players, all coming together to celebrate a landmark moment for the country's sporting future.
You can't underestimate how much it means to have a team mentality and to actually trust the people you play with, because trust was eradicated in 1994. And because cricket was not affected by what happened in the genocide, because it wasn't around then, I think you really see it as a breeding ground for this new mentality.
As Mandela said, sports really has the power to change the world. So it speaks to the youth in the language they understand more. So cricket is really helping us a lot. You have seen the crowd, you've seen the big number that's here. So cricket really helps us in bringing more people together.
This could easily be a first-class cricket ground anywhere in the world. So now they've got the facility, it's about building upon that. And chatting to Eric, who's the captain of the Rwanda cricket team, he's got high hopes for the team, and it's only going to help having the launch of this to really progress everyone going forward.